Great to have you on the EcoCast today. Greg is kicking this off, so I am going to hand him the virtual mic.
Thanks a lot. Hi everyone, it's great to be here talking about how technology can be used to improve productivity in the public sector and education. They are amongst our highest volume of customers at WhatsUp Gold, so we've plenty of experience in this subject matter. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Greg Collins and I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at Progress WhatsUp Gold. Later on in the presentation, I'll also be introducing my colleague Jason Alberino. So Jason is a product expert who has over 20 years of experience with WhatsUp Gold as both a customer and is now the principal product manager. If any questions come to mind, Jason will be on hand at the end of the presentation to answer in the Q&A section. So I'm going to start by going through the agenda. I'll give an overview of what WhatsUp Gold is. I'll then talk through some of the challenges our customers in the sector face. I'll talk through the best practices for those in the education and government sector, public sector. And then I'll quickly touch on how WhatsUp Gold can help, and then finish off by handing it across to Jason to run the Q&A portion of the webinar. So as this may be the first time you've heard of us, I'll start by giving an overview of what WhatsUp Gold is. So WhatsUp Gold is an easy to use IT infrastructure monitoring or ITIM solution that helps users to avoid downtime by enabling them to monitor their network in detail. Users with a range of technical skills can get alerts on everything that's going on in the network, see exactly what's happening, and then resolve network issues before their end users even notice. So I'll quickly run over some of the benefits of WhatsUp Gold. So let's start with proactive monitoring. The reality is waiting for an issue to be reported is already too late. You need to catch potential failures before they impact your business. So WhatsUp Gold continuously tracks performance, detects anomalies, and alerts you before minor glitches become major disruptions. Imagine eliminating downtime before it even happens. That's what we help you do. Now, monitoring is only valuable if it leads to action. That's where actionable insights come in. WhatsUp Gold doesn't just throw data at you. It provides clear, intelligent alerts with root cause analysis and performance trends. So whether it's a bandwidth spike, a failing device, or security risks, our solution translates raw network data into real-time practical decisions. So this means that you'll always know exactly what's happening and what to do next. Of course, none of this matters if the tool is too complicated. That's why ease of use is a huge priority here. WhatsUp Gold is designed for intuitive navigation, simple deployment, and seamless integration with your existing systems. So whether you're a seasoned network engineer or just getting started, our dashboard gives you the insights you need without the learning curve. And then finally, monitoring isn't just about fixing issues. It's about optimizing performance. So WhatsUp Gold helps you to identify bottlenecks, balance loads, and improve overall efficiency. You can fine-tune your network for speed, reliability, and cost effectiveness, helping to maintain peak performance. So think of it as a roadmap to a smarter, faster, and more resilient network. So now that we know what WhatsUp Gold is, I want to chat through some of the top challenges we've seen our customers in the public sector facing. So IT administrators in the public sector are often dealing with extremely tight budgets and limited access to updated and modern systems. Yet at the same time are under tremendous pressure to resolve issues and be secure. The thing that we have seen our customers complaining about are standard stuff really. Networks are too slow and they can't figure out why. They've got VMs all over the place and they're either not sure where they are, where they're hosted, or whether they've even been shut down. Everyone complains about the network being slow when they're trying to stream video or other media and it's choppy, and it's always the network's fault. So this leads to the next question of where is all my bandwidth going? So that's a huge one right now, and any IT administrator will tell you right off the bat that this is one of their biggest questions. Who's using all the bandwidth and where is it going? And to find that out, they're using a variety of different tools, which in itself is a problem. They have to hop from system to system, looking at different views of the network, and they're not seeing everything in one context view that lets you see exactly how everything interacts. The issue that comes from that is that they're constantly under pressure to see what resources are being underused. So for example, do they have 5 different AWS servers that are running right now, but you actually only need one? And can some of these be decommissioned, or what old systems can we get rid of that's creating a massive drag? And then of course, this is a somewhat unique problem to the public sector, but they're under significant regulations for a variety of different reasons. Some of them may be internal local government policies, for example, but they must comply with regulations and they're probably being required to prove that they're compliant on a consistent basis. And that in itself is a challenge. So leaving aside the whole issue of what happens if they do actually get attacked or leave a security hole if there's a data breach, on top of that, they need to be able to prove regularly that, hey, we can abide by these regulations. These are some of the many challenges that we've seen, and I'm now going to go over some of the best practices of how to avoid facing these issues yourself. So first up, we have know your infrastructure. As mentioned, some of the systems are maybe aging, and very few, if any, of the people who were involved in building the network are likely still around. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of equipment may be old and clamped together over time. So if you don't know what that is, you're going to have a real trouble making sure it's working. We tell customers all the time, if you can't see it, you can't manage it. You can't manage it. And hand in hand with that, if you don't know there's a problem, you're never going to be able to fix said problem. This isn't just a matter of, I'm new in the job, what's going on in this network. Things are changing all the time. You've got changes that are planned as well as changes that are unplanned. So you need to know what's running, what's connected, how everything is interdependent, and where things are physically. Because if you don't, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So the number one best practice is to run a layer 2-3 discovery and create a network map so you know exactly what you're looking at. This isn't a one-time thing. Discoveries are snapshots. They will show you what's going on right now. You need to run them regularly because, as I said, things change regularly. So once you've got a map, what's the next best practice? Well, you need to monitor your infrastructure. That means keeping an eye on how it's doing. You're looking at availability, performance. You need to see whether data is going through smoothly or is something slowing down. This covers your wired and wireless infrastructure and your virtual and cloud infrastructures. Anything that can be moving data is something that can be impacting your end user's experience. And if you can figure out what's going on, you can usually fix issues before they start impacting those end users. And that is huge. That's why it has to be vendor agnostic. If you're looking at Cisco operating tools, they're not going to necessarily give you a level of insight into the Dell storage devices, for example. You want something that can look at all of it and put it together, because otherwise you end up with finger pointing. If you can see something in context, it's a lot easier to determine the problem. Things that make a big difference between not knowing how to resolve an issue and being able to stop the problem before it starts impacting your end users. One thing I want to stress is it's really important to use a single tool instead of a handful. There are sometimes a bunch of different tools that may be excellent at their own jobs, but they don't necessarily talk to one another. So what you want is something that can do a lot of things well and give you that overall context view. We do know for a fact that the more tools that a system or network administrator has at their disposal, or that they're required to use for their job, the worse their mean time to repair is. We have statistics to actually back this up. Everyone's trying to make things simpler. One system that lets you monitor and let you track everything is going to be a game changer for you. So moving on to the next best practice is the question of, all right, we're monitoring our traffic. Where's the bandwidth going? That's a big underlying issue about a lot of the problems we spoke about. So if media isn't streaming, that's a problem with bandwidth. We've got certain capacity that suddenly is not available, or why is everything slow for everyone? Who's using our bandwidth, and more importantly, why? So let's take education, for example. There's often a very good use for video and bandwidth. It's easy to say in government setting, like, okay, nobody gets to browse YouTube or stream media. There are cases where that can be relevant in education, and that's something that you need to plan for and monitor. But at the same time, if somebody is showing an educational film or documentary in the classroom, that's the sort of thing you need to be aware of and track. You don't want to be in a situation like the guy on the right where they're like, hey, no one can use the bandwidth if I shut off access to the internet. You need to make sure it's allocated and understand how people are actually using it. The other piece of this too is that you want to get alerted. This isn't just a passive experience where you're just sitting here and watching things. You can set threshold alerts for it. And if you want to know if this connection hits 80% capacity, I want to get an alert. You want to be able to set the threshold to know how much bandwidth is being used and when that bandwidth starts to get out of control, so you can see what's going on and maybe make a phone call to the guy hogging all the bandwidth, watching the latest Marvel movie on his lunch break, and tell him to pull back as we need the bandwidth. Similarly, I want to stress IT infrastructure monitoring tools are not security tools, but they are the sort of thing that will allow you to quickly detect when things are going wrong. Denial of service attacks are common. If you're seeing bandwidth spiking, this can give you an early warning about possible intrusions. One thing you see a lot of with government customers is that there tends to be a lot of hacking and intrusion attempts through IoT devices or even video cameras. There's a certain steady amount of bandwidth that you can expect to get from, say, a camera pointing at a hallway. If that suddenly shoots way up, then something very exciting is going on in that hallway, or someone's trying to get access through there. So these are the type of things that you can set alerts on, so you have another layer of protection within your environment. And moving on, take yourself out of the equation. The majority of network outages and performance issues happen because something wasn't configured properly. Sometimes that's human error, and sometimes it was never set up properly in the first place. Either way, at some point you want to automate a lot of this, because if you're human, you're going to make errors. It happens to all of us, and the more things you have to do manually, the more things you're going to find are causing problems. When it comes to configuration, that's huge, because this not only applies to keeping the entire network running smoothly, which obviously is the primary goal, but also there's often a lot of regulations that impact how systems are configured. For example, we want port 8080 blocked on all devices. That's configuration. And you can either go through it on every single device and do it manually, or you can do something like assign a device role and configuration. And this can happen during discovery. You can say, hey, every router, block port 8080, and that configuration gets automatically applied. Now, again, intrusion issues, someone can come in and often the first thing they do if they gain access to something is change a local configuration to make it easier to gain access again. You can get alerted when that happens, and it's something that you can actually monitor. So with WhatsUp Gold, you can actually automatically revert to established configurations. So if you're really concerned with maintaining compliance, or you've got compliance requirements that dictate a specific configuration type, you want to automatically be able to revert to that if something changes, whether intentionally or maliciously. That can be really valuable, as it can help to prove later that, hey, all the devices are configured the exact same. So if you get 50 new routers and you want to put them on board, no problem. You press one button and assign them a role, and that configuration gets automatically applied. It's a huge lifesaver instead of trying to go through and doing it manually and accidentally pressing the wrong key. Again, the alerts are a key part of this. When something goes wrong, you want to know about it so you can investigate it further. With the level of visibility and observability that's going on right now with the public sector being targeted, you want as many early warning signs as possible, really. So the other piece too is consolidation. I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. If you've got a variety of different pieces sending you information from a variety of different areas, it's overload. You can't determine which item is screaming at you. What you want to get is all of your alerts coming from one area and coming in one stream that's easier to digest. So if they're consolidated, you can see the alerts, and you can also get what they call metadata from the alerts. If something goes down and then everything downstream goes down, well, that's the first one that went down, gives you a lot more information. In fact, with WhatsUp Gold, you won't get alert storms like that. If something goes down, it will automatically ignore any alerts coming from anything downstream. But similarly, if you're seeing a bunch of things go down and they're all in the same geographic region, it's worth a second look. Maybe there's been a power outage in that region and it's not just one individual item. See, information like this goes a long way towards figuring out what the problem is and how to actually go about solving it. More importantly, if you've got everything coming in one spot, it makes it a lot easier for you to not only understand that information, but also to make it available to others. So we can set up alerts in a variety of different ways. You can get them through the web and email, or through communication platforms. And all of these can be to one or multiple people. The advantage of this is, of course, it's not only increased efficiency, but the ability to identify issues before they start impacting your end users. And again, that's realistically the entire point of this. And finally, a big piece of what's being required in the public sector is that everything needs to be recorded. People want to know what's going on, they want better visibility, and the higher ups want this especially. The more you can share, more information you can share, the more you can keep everyone safe and keep everyone aware of what's going on within your actual network, the better this is for you in the end. Reporting is a surprisingly important part of IT infrastructure monitoring, and it doesn't seem to get a ton of attention. You want to provide reports to people who need them, because frankly, otherwise they're going to be coming to you annoying you for it. You'll be on the back foot putting these reports together manually, but if you can automatically generate the kind of reports that individual people need and get them out to them proactively, that takes a huge amount of effort and time off your plate, which you can spend doing other more important tasks. So as an example, you've got someone in accounting who simply wants to know what's our usage of cloud services versus what we're spending on it, because at the end of the day, it's their job to manage the spend. Rather than them annoying you every week or two requesting this report, you can have a system that automatically runs every morning and sends a report of what went on in the last 24 hours, week or month, and have that email land directly in their inbox. The ability to schedule this makes a huge difference. There are hundreds of out-of-the-box reports that are built into WhatsUp Gold, but there's also no view or dashboard or data that you can't set up as a report. WhatsUp Gold also does real-time performance monitoring, so you can get as granular as you wish, even down to the minute of when things are available or not. Another piece of this that is also important is that you can resolve a lot of issues regarding compliance and asset inventory requirements. Again, you need to prove that you're compliant with specific regulations, so a regular report that comes out every week, the auditors aren't going to come knocking for that. Asset inventory is another one that's interesting. I spoke about this earlier, where the public sector is under tremendous financial pressure to do more with less, while at the same time dealing with aging networks. So not only are you able to do this with one click to create a complete list of every single asset in your network, but you can also determine how old they are, whether some of them have been patched, whether they need patching, or what OS they're actually running. So this actually has two advantages. Number one, it can show exactly how complicated a job is when people start wondering why you guys are spending money. And two, it can show you, hey, you know what? We've still got a bunch of old Windows Vista desktops out there and they're not patchable or supported anymore. This means you can go to your boss and say, we need to cough up some money to replace these, as there's now a massive security hole. And all of a sudden, this does two things. First of all, it covers you as you've reported the issue. And secondly, it puts a little bit more pressure as someone has seen the reports and they go, yeah, you know what, we do need to do something about that. And this is something that's coming up regularly. So don't think of reporting as a chore. Think of it as something you set up once that handles itself and something that you can leverage. It's tremendously valuable to be in a meeting or at a budget review and say, hey, here's the data. And not only is this the data, but it's been in your inbox every week for the last year. So what exactly is WhatsUp Gold able to monitor is the next question. So we spoke about this earlier, but I just want to give you a brief overview. So for network devices, we can monitor key metrics like interface utilization. We can monitor all of your system servers, even right down to the workstation, to determine things like processor utilization, memory storage, when do you need a hard drive, various hardware performance indicators, and of course, virtual. Things get lost in virtual all the time. What's the CPU usage? Where are those virtual machines? What interfaces are they using? How much memory? This is where you can get real advantage in finding out this information. And then, of course, wireless. We are in a world where no end user has plugged something physically into the machine in years, and they expect that to be working without issues. All of these sort of things you can monitor with WhatsUp Gold, and you can get alerts on, and you can actually fix. This is the kind of double-edged sword, unfortunately, of being in the IT administrator space. If you're doing your job, everyone wonders why they're paying you, because everything works perfectly. But then when things don't work, then why are they paying you? These guys can't keep the network up. What's wrong? What's the problem? It's a thankless job, unfortunately, and it should be appreciated. But you're going to be much happier resolving issues before they actually impact your end users. So it kind of went a little bit broader than just the public sector with that last piece there. But at this point, I just want to let you know we have a good feel for what our customers are doing and the challenges and pressures that they're under and how we can actually help them. So with that out of the way now, I'm going to hand it across to my colleague, Jason Alberino, who's going to answer any questions that may have come up throughout the session. So thanks everyone for listening.
Okay, and thank you so much, Greg, for an amazing presentation. And while we get our questions ready, a reminder that I've put up the poll question. Please let Progress Software know if they can set up a demo, a one-on-one demo of WhatsUp Gold, which is what Greg demonstrated today. And now we have got Jason in the house with us right now, ready to do those questions. How are you today, Jason?
Great, Keith. Thanks for having us today.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It is my pleasure to have you on today. And another reminder, not only is the poll up, but there is a resource which you can download for free right now in the docs section from Progress Software as well. So please vote, please download the resource. And now we are going to get into your questions. And starting off today is a question from Mitchell, who asks, how does WhatsUp Gold help us continuously validate that every device talking to our student information system is, a long question, known, healthy, properly patched, and coming from an allowed segment without buying yet another NACEDR product? That is a big, long question, but you can answer some or all of it, up to you.
Absolutely. We can answer all of it. WhatsUp Gold is offering a lot of different solutions under one platform. So although it is one tool, you're able to get all the tools required in order to obtain all that information you're talking about. So just direct out of the box with our base edition, you get the ability to inventory data, and that includes knowing what's actually, is it properly patched, yes or no. You'd be able to get reports. And then in terms of traffic coming from an allowed segment, we have our Network Traffic Analysis Plus solution that gives you deep insights into how bandwidth is being used in your environment, as well as being able to create custom reports to meet your criteria relative to if this is an allowed traffic piece or not.
Oh, perfect. All right, great. Now, Mitchell is on fire and has another question for you. And the question is, if I deploy WhatsUp Gold tomorrow, how long until my team sees a measurable drop in MTTR, that is mean time to recovery, for the network is slow tickets? I want a real number from an actual education or state, local government customer, not marketing averages. Jason, that's a big question. I'm not sure you can answer that, but I wanted to throw it out to you.
Yeah, I think it's a relative answer, right? Like every network is unique and different, and everyone who's servicing those networks is solving their issues at different times. So it's hard to give it a distinct number, but I can say it ranges depending on team. The lowest I've heard was 20%. The highest I've heard was 90%. But again, it's all going to be relative to your team, how many systems you're managing, how frequently issues are occurring. WhatsUp Gold can help with all of that, obviously. And if you're continuously monitoring all your environment, you don't have to wait for someone to say the network's slow in order to react. You can react proactively before those tickets are coming in. And that's really where WhatsUp Gold shines.
It's also true that any decline in that number is very good. And I would also add, and in terms of today, at least for the network is slow, the answer will be all day long is that it's Cloudflare's fault, right? That is the answer for why the network is slow for today, at least. All right. I'm going to have fun with that probably for the rest of the event. All right. Adam wants to know, can you talk about how Progress handles secure data movement, especially with agencies still relying on older on-premises systems?
Yes, absolutely. So WhatsUp Gold can be installed in an air gap scenario as required. You can install offline completely, and we use FIPS compliant solutions within the product, so you can rest assured that you'll be FIPS compliant alongside being able to operate in a completely offline scenario.
Okay, fantastic. And we have a question now. We've got time for a few more questions. Reminder, please vote in that poll right now. All right, Aditya asks, many schools and government agencies lack large security teams. This is 100% true, as we all know. How can they build enterprise-grade security maturity using automation, shared services, or zero trust principles without overwhelming an already stretched IT staff that is constantly being hammered with the phrase, do more with less?
Yeah, and that's where WhatsUp Gold shines, and we covered it in the presentation a bunch. And we've been around for 30 years, and everyone keeps telling us, I need less staff because I have this product. We hear it time and time again, and especially the automation aspects really help in that regard. Automating your network discovery, for example, something that in today's security landscape you likely want to see, is there something new on my network I didn't expect? WhatsUp Gold fills that gap for you, as well as enables further automation to even resolve issues that it detects. So yes, it can detect issues, but you could also create automations to correct the issue immediately when it's found. Obviously, that helps with mean time to resolution, but as it relates to security, there's also log management capabilities within WhatsUp Gold. So you're able to collect syslogs, Windows events, in order to report on compliance. If you're subject to any regulatory compliance, you're able to provide the evidence using the data WhatsUp Gold provides.
All right, fantastic. All right, final question before we have to let you go today, Jason. Can we monitor applications in different locations from a single dashboard? It's that single pane of glass question that is so important to admins.
Yes, absolutely. So we actually recently launched a couple different subscription packages that enable you to deploy in very flexible manner. So you actually get multiple installations of the product and our distributed functionality, which enables you to take remote system information, monitoring information, and put it to your central system to have that single pane of glass view into the environment, even if it is dispersed and complex.
Okay, hold on. I think we may have... All right, Jason, I'm not sure. It looks like you You for a moment you froze there for a minute. I don't know if it was just on my side or not. Did other people see Jason freeze, or was it just me? If you all could let me know if the problem is right here in my studio or not. But anyway, with that, Greg has the right answer again. Cloudflare strikes again. It is Cloudflare's fault. Thank you for reminding me of that, Greg. It's not your fault. It actually may have been Cloudflare's fault in this case. But Jason, it was absolutely fantastic to have you on today. Thanks for a great Q&A, and want to thank Greg again for an amazing demonstration of how WhatsUp Gold works. It was an absolute delight to have you on the EcoCast today, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Have a good one.